the sage of the San Fernando Valley, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. The choice is going to mandate you get it on, man. Get it on. Got a lot to get into today. So, I'm not bragging, but I have been driving in Los Angeles. And I've been driving in Los Angeles for approximately 45 years. Right in the middle of Los Angeles. And not like I limited myself to the Toluca Lake area. Yeah. I worked downtown. I worked Simi Valley. I worked Malibu. When I worked construction, I just drove wherever the jobs were. Now it's pretty much, wake up at Drew's house in Pasadena, drive over here to work all Saturday, and then at 5 o'clock get in the car and go to Torrance to do a couple of shows that night. I mean, I drive always, everywhere, all the way through. Everywhere from, here to San Diego and from here to San Francisco. That's all I do. I have never made contact with another automobile, ever. And I do not drive. I drive with one hand. I sometimes steer with my knee.
Yeah.
I do not employ any safe driving techniques other than being hyper-vigilant. But I do not drive I'm not at 10 and 2, a lot of knee driving, do not like to sit in lanes that are stopped up. We'll be all over the lanes, making space all the time. But I've never made contact with another vehicle. I had a vehicle or two bump me a little bit, but I just kind of waved them off because I didn't want to go stand by the side of the freeway with an uninsured illegal Mexican, because that's who hits you here. So on the way to the club on Saturday night, going down the 5, I got about as close. I can tell you from racing cars, there is, this is close, or we're tight on each other, and then there's at some point where you go, we're making contact. We're making contact.
Yeah.
And I got to the threshold of we are making contact, which I never get to. Because I always leave a little room. I'm always going down the 5. I'm trying to get to Torrance. The freeway, the lane in the middle just stops. And the dude who's a little bit ahead of me, but right next to me, just makes a move. It's like his lane came to a stop fast, and he just went, fuck it. And he just yanked and went right into my lane. And all I did was react hard and just go right into the other lane. Now, if there was a car next to me, I would have smashed into that car, and then this guy would have just driven off. And then me and that person would have been dealing with it by the side of the road. And it would have been me who was at fault, allegedly, because I'm the one who went. But this guy just went hard, and I was like, we're making contact. And I just gave a whoop, and just moved right with him the second, inches away. Thank God there wasn't a car next to me, because there wasn't a moment to look.
Yeah.
It was just, we're moving, and if there's somebody there, I'm hitting them. But I didn't. But I realized when people do you're lucky, it's not luck. I drive that way. I've avoided many, many accidents where we would surely make contact. All I had to do was stay the course for 0.2 of a second. This guy would have mashed right into the side of my car. He just violently changed lanes. He braked first. Like, he did a move where he's like, my lane is stopping, but the other lane's open. He started to brake, and then he went, fuck it, and he went pow, like hard dip when I was right there. Anyway, missed that. Then called Mike Oggs. You don't know Mike Oggs as well as I, but he has a certain kind of momentum, a personal momentum. Once he makes a proclamation, that's it. You can ask all the questions you want. It is done. He said it. So he's sitting there at the end, who I don't know if they're famous for their barbecue, but they like to talk about their barbecue a lot.
Who?
The End.
Oh,
the club.
I see.
It's okay. I've had better, but I've had worse. It's fine. But they like their barbecue over there. So I call Mike and I go, Mike, how's it going over there? Because he's there. He's like, I got the brisket. It's pretty good. I said, but the ribs are really good. I go, oh, yeah. He goes, yeah, they got the big ones. I go, oh, they got the beef ribs? He goes, yeah. I go, oh. Now, I don't know what's going on, but something happened to the beef ribs. The beef ribs, when I was a kid, not that the Carollas ever went out for ribs, because that was, that would be
Rich
enjoy.
man
That'd be
stuff.
and it would bring some joy to the children. But I used to see commercials for Love's Barbecue. When you're in love, the whole world's delicious. So Love's Barbecue would have like rib night, $9.99 rib night, and all I knew from Love's is I would see the commercials it would be rib night. And it's not like I would walk into my mom and go, hey mom, how about we capitalize on Love's rib night? It was
foregone conclusion that you were not getting ribs.
If you were in a German concentration camp, you wouldn't go to one of the guards. Hey, Love's is having rib night. You just go, I'm here. This is not going to happen. You're not getting any ribs. But I knew we have it's a rib lovers car. I would sit in my sweatbox in North Hollywood at age 11 and just go, God damn. Oh, God damn. Look, could you imagine going to Love's for rib night? And by the way, I would also fantasize, who pulls down the kind of coin that they could afford? Because when you go to Love's for rib night, it's not just you for $9.99. There may be 2 or 3 other people.
Yeah.
I mean, we may be talking about $40 worth of ribs over here, people. And I knew there was a ribs, 1982. I knew there was a Love's right off the 101 freeway in Reseda. Again, I knew where everything was.
Yeah.
I'd just never been inside of one of them. Later on, I got to go inside of some of those legendary restaurants to clean their carpets.
Oh, damn.
But it was a move.
I remember that era.
It was a step toward the light. We have the commercial from 1982. What was rib? In 1982, it had gotten to $12.99 for rib. All right, we're going to find out. When you're in love, the whole world's delicious.
How long has it been since you had ribs? I bet that it's
Was
been
that
too
Clint
long.
Eastwood or
Clint Eastwood feel alike.
Go to Love's and eat Love's ribs. You'll sing Love's song, now everybody sing along. Rib lovers love Love's ribs. Now the special rib lovers
$6.99.
It's only $6.99.
Oh man.
My dad was like, that's a car payment. Not that we've been extended credit, but it could be $6.99. And my parents would be like, are you nuts? But so I say to Mike, oh, they got the big ribs. He goes, oh yeah. I go, the beef ribs.
Talk about the yabba
big,
dabba do on the side of the car.
Yeah, I go, I don't know why I don't see those anywhere. When I was a kid, when you said ribs meant big ribs. Now they're all baby back ribs. So I don't know what happened to cows, or maybe the tomahawk chop did something to it, or I don't know what's going on. But the big beef rib I've not enjoyed in a while. So I said to Mike, I go, they got the big ones, huh? He goes, yeah, they got the beef one, the big beef ones. He goes, yeah, they're great. I go, all right, well, I'm coming out there. I worked up an appetite, not getting into an accident.
Yeah.
So I come pulling in there, and it's all baby back ribs, all the pork spare ribs, small ribs, meaty but small. So I go back there and I go, well, so pardon me for being sane. I'm like, somebody ate all the beef ribs. Mike must have ate all the beef ribs. Let's get some more beef ribs over here. Go back there. I go, Mike, what happened to the beef ribs? He goes, yeah, they're there. I go, those are the pork ribs. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
I go, but But Mike, remember the part where I kept saying beef rib, beef, they got the big ones, you don't see those. You don't see those anymore. Boy, am I looking forward to this because you don't see those. That's your opportunity to stop.
Yeah.
The third time I say anything, I'm telling people all the time, the third time I go, wow. Because you don't see that is curious. When I start making curious sounds, well, If I say things like, do tell.
Now it's time to correct the record.
It's time to stop and go, hold on, they're not the big, they're not. Okay, Mike was born in the United States.
He was.
Mike's my age. Mike has eaten everything, including ribs, the whole time. So in the process of me keep going the beef ribs, the big ones, he knows what a beef rib is, and he's eating a pork rib. Why does he? Now, the answer is he just said big, and after that, we're just, whatever it is I said, it was like,
or maybe he didn't want to let you down. You wanted to keep you, you just survived a harrowing experience.
He didn't know that. I didn't convey that to him.
I thought he could hear it in your voice.
You could hear a certain tremble in my voice. I was just like, okay. But why does it have to go this way? Why?
Could it go any other way?
It can't go any other way, but there is a point where you could go, oh, you're talking about beef ribs. No, these are baby back. They're plump. I mean, they're big for baby back, but we're not talking about the big ribs, the big beef ribs. No, not beef ribs.
See, every now and then, Mike August is right.
Every now and again.
And so you kind of end up giving him the benefit of the doubt, but there should be a spidey sense there that says, "No, I got to verify."
My spidey sense
Trust but verify.
Here's my spidey sense. I've played this club before. They sent me back with the farmer's spread of barbecue, a little bit of everything, no beef rib. So now I'm like, oh, now they got the beef ribs. And then I'm like, oh, you never see those anywhere. Now, I don't know if someone can find the answer. And by the way, we still need the Loves commercial where the guy goes, when you're in love, the whole world's delicious. I still need that one, but $6.99 in the 80s.
Reagan's America.
Also, it used to be commercials. They used to try to pull off the whole chef thing. It was like a white guy with a mustache who was fat with the chef's hat, and he was presenting the plate. Now it's a bunch of illegals in the kitchen, and they don't even try that anymore. But, and I don't know, Dawson. You can look around, but what happened to the beef barbecue rib? They're just kind of gone.
Years either.
I'm going to shit on your point.
You ate one last night.
No, about a year ago when I was in Austin doing some shows, went to Terry Black's, one of the good higher end barbecue joints out there.
Yeah,
their beef rib is the greatest thing on earth.
Well, that's not shitting on my point.
Yeah.
I want the beef rib.
Yeah,
I
don't know why they're not out here.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying where are they?
Texas.
But what happened out here?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What happened to our beef ribs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I like when you can, you know what I mean? You're done. You're left with this giant weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, I agree.
No.
Oh, we have the Loves jingle. I said, too many Asians out here? What's going on with the beef rib? The world's delicious. This is all the entertainment I had as a young person, memorizing, I got the Pete Ellis Dodge song memorized. I got the Cal Worthington song memorized. I got the Love song memorized. I get to watch the commercial for the Super Bowl of motocross. I get to see all the good commercials and memorize all the theme songs.
Man.
So that was enough excitement for me.
You're right.
All right. So no beef ribs, but Dawson, I want you to get to the bottom of it.
All right.
I want to know. And listen, I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not saying you can't find them. I'm saying what happened to them. They used to be kind of ubiquitous. If you went to a place and ordered ribs, that's what you got. Now you
big
get
pork. I think the pork lobby just spent an entire amount of money to make pork the standard rib.
Elon's gonna cut that shit.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, you know what you do is you get a couple of beef ribs and a couple of pork ribs. That's the way you do it.
Yeah.
All right. I saw commercials. There's certain indicators, Mayhem, that society is broke loose of its mooring as in a drift in this sea.
Yeah.
And I've told everyone, watch TV commercials. TV commercials will tell you where it's at. It used to be Love's and truck driving schools.
Yeah.
Latest commercial I saw is for supplements for all the people that are on weight loss drugs.
What? Oh, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Because don't you get osteoarthritis
I
or
don't.
something?
Everyone's on the weight loss drugs, and so now we need a supplement, Replenza.
Wow.
They made that one up.
Oh, my God.
Replenza. I'll play the commercial. So now everyone who's on all these fakakta drugs is going to need to be sold something else to put into their body. Meanwhile, when Love's was having $6.99 rib night, no one was fat. When you're on Replenza, the whole world's delicious. All right, here it is.
If you're one of the millions of people enjoying the weight loss benefits of GLP-1s like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, and others, now you can get the nutritional support you need with Replenza. Replenza is physician-formulated nutritional support designed for GLP-1 users so you can look great and feel great while you lose weight.
It is a game changer. I've got energy. I feel great.
Nothing else worked for me like
All right, hold on. Let me explain what else could work. Not eating so much, and then exercising, and then eating the right stuff. You wouldn't need the Replenza or the shots. You could just, it's like, it makes me not eat so much. Oh, there's a way to not eat so much. You can not eat so much. And also, Mayhem, you know about this.
No, yeah. Weight cutting is a specialty.
How much did you need to cut?
I cut like 23 pounds in a day before, but, it's not to be done. But, that's insane.
You had to get down to 185?
Uh-huh. I would
And-
walk around at like 210.
Right.
So it was like a nice, like long,
Yeah.
hard stretch. And I don't know.
But here's what I'm telling everybody. I am telling you, it's not the weight. It's you lose your ability to have dominion over yourself. Yeah. You go, I got to lose some weight. I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to eat that, or I'm going to sweat it out. I'm not talking about cutting weight for the octagon, but I just mean now there's a pill for everything. Okay, you may have solved the problem of the weight, but you created another problem with a total lack of discipline, which shall then bleed into every facet of your life. So you'd be the skinniest, laziest fuck on the planet. Dawson has rib answers.
Yeah, well, it appears that, first of all, the beef ribs are a more expensive cut.
Okay.
And they take much longer to prepare and cook. So it's a bottom line thing with restaurants. Ribs is now synonymous with pork and baby back, thanks to Chili's probably. And that's why, especially in California, but most places they're saying outside of cattle country, it's very difficult to find beef ribs.
Damn.
It is interesting that all roads lead to cheaper and easier, like we talked about with passion fruit iced tea or whatever the fuck they're talking about. It's always, I suspect, limes. The reason it's all limes and no lemons anymore, and every time I say, give me a lemon, that get handed a lime, is because a lime can sit on top of your refrigerator for 7 months and still be fine. Lemons go.
Yep.
All right. So then this reminded me of another commercial, which was the beginning of the end. Do you remember there's an actual medication for people that are strung out on opioids?
Yes.
Yes, to help you poop.
Yes.
That's when the problem really fucking started.
Wow. Yeah, you're
I
right.
am saying, people, listen, when you can drive from Santa Monica to here, from PCH to here, at some point you'll be traveling on the 10 freeway right off PCH, and you'll go under an overpass and you will see a cage built, a shark cage built under the overpass. It's like 5 feet high because human beings sleep there, and we must prevent them from sleeping there. So we will put a cage there so they can't sleep on the dirt underneath the freeway overpass. Now, you can build that cage, but I would argue bigger picture, what the fuck is going on with your society that human beings are in 2025 are sleeping on dirt under a freeway overpass.
Agreed.
And then I would say, why don't we address that problem versus build the cage? Because you'll never be able to build enough cages. That won't work. So I would say, if we're coming out with Movantic, guys on a construction site.
Movantic, I get it.
Move.
You gotta move.
Movement.
Yeah,
Move.
I get it. Move. Yeah.
All right. If you're coming out with commercials for medication for people that are ODing on other medications who can't take a solid shit, that's a problem. But here's the commercial. Guy on a construction site.
Hi, I'm Frank. I take Movantic for OIC, opioid-induced constipation.
I like
Had a bad back
that.
injury. My doctor prescribed opioids, which helped with the chronic pain, but backed me up. Big time. Tried prunes, laxatives, still constipated.
Yeah.
Had to talk to my doctor.
Yeah, get off
She
the
said,
opioids.
How long you been holding this in?
All right, pause it for a second. Hold on
He's
a
so
second.
handsome to be talking about poop.
Yeah, he looks like every fucking guy was strung out on Percocets that I work construction with.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Can I say this? Did they ask for a Hunter Biden
Yes,
look
it is
alike?
him.
Like people
Yeah.
associate him with drug abuse, so we kind of want someone who looks a little like Hunter. Also, he had to audition.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he ran this with his girlfriend the night before, like the sides, like he sat on the bed and he was like, line, and she's like, constipation. Okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to have fun with that one. I'm going to have fun with that one. I'm going to sort of smile a little and I'm going to take a pause.
Pregnant pause.
Yeah, dramatic.
Yeah.
You call it a dramatic pause.
Yeah.
And hang that one in. And then also, what would you rather? All right, so I'm doing commercial auditions. All right. Would you rather play the guy who's strung out on pain pills, who now can't take a dump because he's strung out on pain pills and is going to now take another pharmaceutical in order to take a dump because he can't quit the pain pills? Are we doing that? You want to be cast in that commercial? Or do you want to be cast in the herpes commercial where the woman talks, she breaks down the fourth wall. She's talking to the camera saying she had herpes and now she's on medication as the boyfriend who stands next to her and with a sort of judgment-free posture because you didn't give her the herpes.
Well,
she got the herpes from the last boyfriend that was banging her.
Yeah.
And now you're there.
Catching it.
And you're sensitive to what's going on.
Well, because you don't want to get it. So
You don't
here,
want to
take
get
these
it.
pills.
You don't want to get it.
But I'd much rather have a twinkle in my eyes and talk about constipation.
You'd rather talk about, but remember, you're a drug addict.
Oh, okay.
The herpes guy, it's not his fault.
He did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong, but now he's being cuckolded by herpes.
Yes.
And she has it, and she's talking to the person, she's breaking down the fourth wall. You're a victim. But in our society, it's kind of a weak position to be the second sloppy herpes second guy.
Holding her dress and alongside of her with the sad look upon your face.
You guys are pushing mountain bikes. And then you stop. And then she starts talking about her herpes.
Do I have to touch her seat?
You have to kind of help her hold her mountain bike while she's talking about having herpes. But again, you didn't give her the herpes. So
no lines on this? Am I getting paid scale?
Yeah, same pay.
All right, then I'll take it. No.
You'll do the herpes?
Yeah, I'll do the herpes commercial too. I mean, if I'm going to
you don't get to do both of them.
Well, then what the hell, man? I'm trying to get somewhere in Hollywood. I got constipation because of my Percocet addiction, and my girlfriend's got herpes.
You think this guy made a move where he goes, I hurt my back on the construction site, and his hand went up, kind of rubbed his neck.
What was that?
I think that was his decision. I don't think that the director fed him that.
He's remembering the pain.
He's remembering. Roll it back. Yes.
No, he made a lot of good choices.
Roll back a couple seconds. He made good choices.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's see. Here we go.
My doctor prescribed opioids, which helped with the chronic pain, but backed me up.
Back me up.
Hi, I'm Frank. I take Movantic for OIC, opioid-induced constipation.
Yeah, see the way he did
I had a
that?
bad back injury.
Oh, yeah, rubbing
The
the
doctor
neck.
prescribed opioids, which helped with the chronic pain, but backed me up. Big time. Tried prunes, laxatives, still constipated. Had to talk to my doctor. She said, "How long you been holding this in?"
Oh, he looked at
That
the
was
camera.
my
He
Movantic
flashed, he
moment.
flashed the
Twinkle.
camera.
My doctor told me that Movantic is specifically designed for OIC and can help you go more often. Don't take Movantic if you have a bowel blockage or a history of them. Movantic may cause serious side effects, including symptoms
Thermos.
of opioid withdrawal,
Talking to Mexicans.
severe stomach pain and or diarrhea, and tears in the stomach or intestine. Tell your doctor about any side effects and about medicines you take. Movantic may interact with them,
Well,
causing
probably
side
taking
effects.
Percocet.
Why hold it in? Have your Movantic moment. Talk to your doctor about opioid-induced constipation. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Loxagal.
Now, the good news is, with this commercial,
Yeah.
I have been on enough construction sites that's a real construction site. I don't like fake construction sites. And
That's
TV
what I was
where
going
the
to ask you. How's the
studs are
job?
all spread out, all cattywampus. Nothing's on layout or anything. Nailing schedules are bad. Wrong materials. Everything. You always do it in sitcoms. It's always wrong. It's always wrong. But that's a real construction site.
Yeah.
So I believe this guy. I don't know if his name is Frank. I don't know if we can find out. We have Hunter Biden and Mozantic guy or Lex or whatever guy.
Spot on.
I think they were going for Hunter Biden, what I call at least a feel-alike.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So now we got commercials for stuff you shouldn't be taking in the first place to counteract the side effects of the stuff you shouldn't be taking in the first place, but you're too weak to not take the stuff in the first place.
That's America, baby.
I know. All right. The Philly mayor was funny because she's, I don't know if she was a DEI hire. I don't know why they voted her in, but she doesn't seem like the best in the bride. So she's had a couple of gaffes.
I missed them.
Well, first she was trying to spell the word Eagles.
Oh, I saw that one.
That was funny.
That was pretty good.
And then later on she had another gaff, but we'll do the Eagles one for now.
Let me hear you all say E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
And then more recently, she did this one. It's a little more innocuous, but it's kind of funny.
Reminded us all through their excellence that nothing is possible when we work together as a team.
Right.
Perfect for Philly.
Nothing is possible. And then somebody tweeted me this, and then I wrote back, I could care less. And then everyone wrote back, it's you couldn't care less. I was like, I'm making a joke, you fucking idiots. And you see what I did? I could care less, which is exactly that's what she did. Nobody has a sense of humor these days.
I saw that and I knew because we had discussed it on this
Yeah,
show.
I saw it, yeah.
Also,
But I also saw the trap that I just waited.
Also, nobody, the Movantic, who's the actor from Movantic?
Yeah, we're getting
that
him.
guy needs to work.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to be the next Flo from Progressive.
He probably is. We just keep giving him attention. Mike McGowan.
What, his name's not Frank?
No.
And what else was he on? He's in movies.
He's in Law and Order, Special Victim Unit.
Everyone's been in Law and
I
Order
know,
by
but
now.
that was back in 99.
Man, that's a long time to hold a shit. But he's known for Law and Order. This guy gets around.
Yeah. This guy's
Procedural
working.
stuff.
He's working.
When's
you
his
can
last?
tell. He was professional when he took that dramatic pause. And when he gave the twinkle to the camera at the end of there. It was a good...
Well, he made it his own. He
Guy's an
had fun
expert.
with it.
Yeah.
He's skilled.
Yeah.
Mike McGowan.
I got another tidbit of rib information.
Oh, what?
Oh.
They are apparently difficult to sell at restaurants because patrons find them comically large.
They are. And it get on... Bro, it's on your face. You're having a bukkake party with these ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've not been to one of those in a while.
Yeah. They're fun. It's like bar mitzvah.
What's protocol? Do you bring a bottle of wine to a bukkake party? I mean, you don't want to show up empty-handed. Maybe some
oil.
like ambrosia salad or something.
Think of
Oil.
oil. Or, yeah. Yeah, ambrosia's good, but maybe more like a lasagna. So make sure to close it up all the sides.
Do lasagna?
Yeah.
Or I'll do a
7-layer dip. Sketchy.
I'll do like a white cheese pizza, like no red sauce.
Yeah.
Keep it white. All right. The other thing that bothers me, I don't know. It's funny. I make a lot of tweets, and they're sarcastic tweets. And in my sarcastic tweets, oftentimes people believe me. Like when I say I could care less, they correct me and stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted me, like the world's greatest mom, like that the kid was in some junior some junior dirt bike race, right? And the thing stalled out. And I think I liked this one, but I didn't tell you it was coming. But the mom comes running out there, jumps on the XR75, starts kicking it. But the first thing she does is pick it up and take the back tire 3 foot off the ground and starts leaning forward because she was like priming the carb or doing something. She knew what she was doing. She pulls it forward, lifts it off the ground. She goes running about 80 yards onto the track, grabs the XR75 Honda, pulls it forward, flops it down, jumps on it, kicks it like 10 times, fires it up, hands it back to the son or the daughter, or whatever. They jump on it and get back in the race. And so somebody wrote, mom's greatest mom ever. And then I wrote back, it seems like only yesterday, my mom grabbed my YZ80, tilted it up to prime the carb, fired it, and got me back in the race. And then people answered me by going, YZ80 was my first bike too.
Nice.
And didn't know you were a dirt biker, Ace. I like you even more. And I'm like, has anyone ever listened to 10 seconds of me? First off, the idea that I would own a YZ80 Yamaha when I was 10 is insane. Considerably more than Rib Night it loves, right? And that the fact that Chris Carolla would run out onto a dirt track and prime my carb with the 2-stroke and get me back in the race. I get it. Not everyone's a fan.
No, man.
But you have to know. You have to know. There's no possible way that Chris Carolla would buy Adam Carolla a YZ80.
Not everybody listens to every moment of the show, unfortunately. I know. The ex people especially, they're just like really like, they're hit or miss. Either they know they would listen to everything, or they haven't seen you in a while, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a dirt bike fan too.
All right, well, I'll see if we have that one, but yeah, see, when I was a kid, it was a Honda XR75 or Yamaha YZ80. That's what you want. Well, show this woman. She goes running out into the middle of a dirt track. There's a dude on it, kicking it, can't get it going. She's like, get off it. Gets a back tire 4 feet off the ground.
Nice.
She's trying to prime something. She's trying to get fuel going to the pickup on the tank or something out of the carb or something like that. Then jumps on it, kicks the shit out of it, kickstarts it like 4 times, gets it up on the pipe, throws her kid back on it, and tells her kid to go back in the race. Now, her kid was later killed on the whoop-de-doo section. But that does not
disqualify
negate what this woman did. She had no way of knowing that her kid would die in the whoop-de-doo section half a lap later. And it's not negating my point. You know what I mean? What I'm saying, if I went out and I just detailed your car because it was your birthday, and then you went out and got into a horrible accident, that wouldn't...
Not on you.
But it's not me.
Yeah.
Right? The gesture's still there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, the fact that Chris Carolla would prime my carb with 2-stroke on my YZ80 and get me back in the races, you should not respond to that. And look, if I ever write anything positive, you should know I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got that vibe already.
You get
short and to the point on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got Xaviaer Durousseau who's coming in. strong personality. Talk to him, PragerU guy. We got some news coming up, and we'll get to all that after this. Simply Safe. Wow. Everyone's trying to say stay safe now, especially out here. I've been allowed back in my home for 3 weeks, but I'm safe, and we want you to be safe too. Traditional security systems only take action after someone has already broken in, and by then it's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. That's what you want. You want to prevent a break-in before something gets broken. If someone's lurking around or acting suspiciously, the agents will see him and they'll talk to them in real time, activate spotlights, even contact the police. No long-term lock-in contracts or cancellation fees. Monitoring plans start at a very low price, about $1 a day. Very affordable. These guys are great sponsors, been around for a long time. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/Adam. Just head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this year. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Select quote, there's so many things in life we just never get around to. Taking up that hobby, cleaning out the garage, you know you need to do that. Little things that don't really make huge differences in our lives. Yet, there is one thing that most of us have probably been neglecting that can have a huge impact on our family's future. It's life insurance. And with Select Quote, getting covered with the right policy for you is easier and more affordable than you may think. If you have high blood pressure, no problem. If you have diabetes, that's fine too. Even if you have heart disease, Select Quote partners with carriers that can cover those conditions and others. Head to selectquote.com and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. It is Select Quote. Right, Dawson?
Select Quote. They shop, you save. Get the right life insurance quote for you for less at selectquote.com/Carolla. Go to selectquote.com/Carolla today to get started. That's selectquote.com/Carolla.
Him's hair. There you go. Man, when you leave the house, you check your phone, you check your wallet, you check your key. How about your hair? How about your look? If you're experiencing a little hair loss, well, you may not feel as confident as you could, and that's where Hims comes in. Get your confidence back. Hims provides a range of doctor-trusted hair loss treatments, chewable, oral, spray, serum. It's all there. Do it all from the comfort of your own home. Simple, 100% online process. Just answer a few questions and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, treatment is sent direct to your door. No insurance needed. One low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. It's Hims, right, Dawson?
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Adam. That's HIMS.com/Adam for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/Adam. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace, I got a freeway sign for you from Arizona, the land of creative freeway signs. The sign reads on Valentine's Day, using your turning signal is our love language. So there you go. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Well, Xaviaer Durousseau's in studio. You may know him from PragerU. Many of those efforts. Got a YouTube show, Respectfully Xavier. Discuss pop culture and politics as well. Interesting trajectory for your life and your career. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of PragerU people, but a lot of, I think, people in general, younger people who are on a kind of real liberal BLM kind of hard left kind of path, and then somehow extricated themselves, but had some sort of wake up aha moment. But I don't know if it was an evolution for you or it was just like a moment where you went, oh, I'm thinking differently.
So my journey was quite the roller coaster. So I grew up in a very liberal household, very progressive. And in 2020, at that point, I'd already been a BLM activist for years, just on my own, doing stuff online. And I was bored during the pandemic. So I applied to be on this Netflix reality show where essentially my entire character was a catfish online that was also teaching people how to be a BLM activist and a woke activist. And in the process of getting ready for the show, I started studying the counter arguments, and I was going to make a whole series debunking PragerU, but instead I debunked myself, so much so that I ended up backing out of the show and changing my whole perspective.
And I don't know about your family of origins, but my family is very progressive. Almost, my grandmother was sort of a communist in the 30s and stuff. I mean, really, real progressive stuff. And my mom is that way, although she just got welfare and food stamps and stuff. But, and I was thus kind of progressive. My dad was that way too, just because that's where you grow up. You know, it's almost like, hey, you speak this language, you have this accent, you know, you eat these foods, you know, that's just how you grow up. But I did figure out early on that all these people are losers and they're miserable and they're unsuccessful and they never get anything done. And so I was kind of looking at it going, well, I don't know if this is the path. You guys all live in squalor and are miserable. So why is it I should follow you on this journey? Forget about what the journey was or whatever whether the journey was accurate or not. It was still kind of do I want to end up like these people?
You know, it's so funny.
But I don't know how your family was.
Chaotic. When I look in retrospect, it's like so many of the people that I thought as a kid were just quirky or had their weird little personality traits. It's like, oh, looking back, no, you were bipolar or you are just autistic or you have some type of mental illness or whatever it is going on. And I just didn't realize it growing up. But yeah, my family for the most part has been very woke. I would dare to say my dad's side is very Marxist. A lot of them are just like anti-white people, everything conservative, and a lot of that comes from just their upbringing as well. Like my dad, he actually has a recessive trait of super light skin, so he's lighter than you in complexion, but looks very Afrocentric otherwise. And his dad was darker than me, so he disowned him because he was too light. So it's just this generational thing that kept going on that I ended up breaking out of the cycle.
Do they? You know, the part I'm always curious about is nothing ever comes out the other end. And I was saying that with the black community, they have an ability to have no results for extended periods of time. And black women especially. Like, I want to say this shit's been going on for 60 years. None of the promises have ever been kept. Nothing ever comes out the other side. At what point do you start to explore alternative angles on things? Like Japanese men wouldn't put up with this shit for 10 minutes. Like if you couldn't tell a group of Japanese men as a politician, here's what I'm like, elect me. I'm going to 60 years goes by, same shit still going on. They would have abandoned this shit years ago.
Well, that's something I find so irritating about the black community because there's so much creativity, there's so much passion, there's all these different things, but black people are always the first to put other black people into boxes or try to pigeonhole the direction that we need to take our lives. Like I think back, for example, so I was born in Southside Chicago, like right next to O Block over in Inglewood, but I spent my summers there, but I grew up in
You guys have an Inglewood there too, huh?
That's my question.
Oh, it is as hood gets.
Oh, wow.
Is your Inglewood hoodier than our Inglewood? Inglewood?
Yes.
But we gentrified ours like 10 minutes ago. Our Inglewood like 10 years ago was Inglewood. It was Inglehood.
We're not even, or that Inglewood isn't even close to gentrification at this point. And my family fled out of there like Harriet Tubman in the middle of the night and went to the cornfields of Pontiac, Illinois, this small little town. And it was interesting just growing up seeing the differences between the two. But anyway, that small cornfield town had like this great FFA program where you could go and learn about agribusiness and all of this. And when I joined those classes thinking like, oh, well, I don't know a lot of black people who work in agricultural business. If we have the number one in the nation, shouldn't I join it? I got roasted by my family. They're like, you think you're a farmer? Your black ass is about to go and try to learn about farming. So it's like, here's this direction that I could have went that could have been lucrative for me that I've been bullied out of by other black people. Black people don't let other black people step out of the box. But my cousin went and took that same route. And now she's making a whole bunch of money over in Honolulu because she went and dared to step out of the box that people told her she shouldn't put herself in.
Yeah, I've said, a few times that my white privilege is really just nobody cares. I get to do whatever I wanted. There's no, you can't do this or you got to do that or you shouldn't be reading this or you shouldn't be talking this way or anything. It's just, you get left alone, and I don't know why the black community does so much sort of self-policing. I don't feel like it's helpful. And that's kind of what happened to you.
Yeah, it's like this crabs in a bucket type of thing. It's like I see that now that I'm working with conservatives and Republicans. I have all these people who are so mad at me and they're like, how dare you? They hate you. They don't support you. And they're reading me for filth, telling me that the people that I'm around who love me actually hate me. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Go down and be in the bucket with you guys that are all telling me that I'm a sellout and a coon because I don't agree with you?
Well, the thing about the left is they're not fans of, Trump or Elon Musk. But if you're, Larry Elder, if you're black, Thomas Sowell or whoever, and you're conservative, you really get it. Yeah. And if you're a black woman, you really get it because they expect you, again, part of my white privilege. I don't have, I don't have to defend white dudes who are horrible. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if there was some George Floyd version of a white guy, me and Mayhem would just make fun of him and go, good, he's dead, good. One less fucking criminal, one less junkie, good. One less white trash guy to deal with. You know what I mean? That we don't have to march for that guy. He's just some idiot. He's a fucking drug addict, and now he's dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Tried to hammer a check, didn't work out, fine. I don't have to have any, and I don't have to defend Joe Biden. He's an idiot. I don't like him. I think he was corrupt. Like, I don't have to take any sides I don't want to. I can love Thomas Sowell and hate Joe Biden. That's the gift.
Well, one of the best things that ever happened to me was I recently learned that I'm 2% Chinese. So I started identifying with that because I really love Asian culture. I mean, Asians really have all their stuff together. If you look at all the good metrics, they're at the top. All the bad metrics, they are at the bottom.
I know. And they're the true minority, which is, and I'll screw it up, but it's like, Hispanics, like, 30-something% or something. Blacks, 13%. Asians, like 4%. So they are a minority. They just happen to excel. So we don't call them minorities anymore. We don't treat them like minorities because we've changed the definition of minority. Now minority just means not doing well.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. It should mean what it is, which is a smaller group. And they excel. And when you go down the list, whitey's in the middle. Like Nigerians outperform white people in this country. So they're pretty darn black last time I checked, but they have a strong emphasis on education and family. So thus they hop ahead of the white man because we don't have as strong an allegiance to that. Basically illustrating that anyone can come here and do anything they want, but here are the rules. Family, education, don't have kids out of wedlock, blah, blah, blah. And somebody could start working that with the black community, but they're cowards. And the other people are race hustlers and they're just getting paid off it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they continuously move the goalposts. I think it's so interesting how we Asians get written out of the conversation of being minorities, when if there's anyone that should argue that they're systemically oppressed, it's Asians. Because, like, if you look at college admissions, for example, Asians have to score on average 450 points higher than the average black person in order to get into the same program at the same college. And that is out of control. And then whenever there's any type of thing where they're cutting out white people from being able to get opportunities, they put Asians in there too, as if Asians aren't a minority. Then when you look over at Nigerians, and you can't say it's just skin color, because Nigerians are killing the game again in every metric. It's because they don't glorify hood rat culture. The hood rattery that is elevated in the black community in general. It's just this loser culture that continues to put us back into the same shambles that we've been in for decades. Nigerians are not having that. They're out getting educations, getting their bag, and prioritizing the things that are going to elevate their community rather than just be in the trenches with hood rats.
Yeah. And so Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, they end up just kind of sadly being race hustlers, which was sad. Like, I thought Joe Biden was going to be kind of down the middle and a little like Uncle Joe and Steady Joe and whatever. And he just went right back into race hustling. There's a clip, Dawson. It's the baggage handling one that I love because it's Joe Biden. And if someone said, you only have 19 seconds to really describe the Joe Biden administration, I'd just go, I'll show you 19 seconds of Joe Biden. And it's perfect. But there's something, I'd watch this clip 20 times and I'd forgotten there's one part that's part of the race hustle that eluded me the first 25 times I've seen it. There's a second part with a race hustle that I reacted to, but I forgot the first. So when he starts explaining who these, okay, let's just break down the game film because he makes no sense. Okay, here it is.
Decision. Some airlines, if you want 6 more inches between you and the seat in front, you pay more money. But you don't know it until you purchase your ticket.
All right, pause it. Okay. Well, now this is perfect for Joe Biden because no one knows what the fuck he's talking about. No one has any. Stop right now. Does anyone know?
No, I'm confused.
What he means? I travel all the time.
It's like, what airline is he talking about?
Well, it's perfect because it goes, some airlines, no, all airlines charge you for like Coach Plus or Premium Plus. They give it some euphemistic title. You get a little more knee room and you get an entree or something or whatever that thing is. You get the baggage space above your head. You get all the stuff you used to get for free, basically, is what they do. You get treated with dignity. All right. So his first premise is, I don't know what his premise is. Some airlines know all airlines, and then you don't know it until after you buy the ticket. No, you do know it because you sign up for it. Mm-hmm. It's because it's like saying, some restaurants serve shrimp cocktail, but you don't know. It's like, no, you order shrimp cocktail and then you pay for the shrimp cocktail, or you don't. Mm-hmm. But let's see who this affects. Buckle up,
folks,
Xavier.
These are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks and people of color.
All right, pause it. All right, so the fact that he makes a distinction between poor people and people of color is race hustling. Because he's basically saying it affects poor people. So you say a $62 parking ticket would affect poor people and people of color, but not rich people of color or not any people of color or poor people if they were people of color. Yes, it affects poor people, but not and people of color. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, who are people of color now? Are they Hispanic or is it just black at this point?
Pretty much.
But show that again because he said that he has 3 or 4 categories. He starts with marginalized. So let me ask. So it affects the extra $41 that American Airlines has charged for the extra 6 inches of knee room affects the marginalized community, which I'm not sure who that is in 2023 or whatever he gave. Is that like the gay or lesbian?
It just depends on the crowd he's talking to at this point.
Okay, so it's marginalized people, and it's poor people, and then it's also people of color who are marginalized? Or are you covered by the marginalized community umbrella, or you have your own space?
I need to start seeing Venn diagrams of what is categorized as what. Anytime
so again, this extra money affects, and by the way, poor people don't fly commercially that often.
No.
They take the bus, but okay. Or they don't go anywhere, like me. Like when I was a kid, we didn't go anywhere because we didn't have money, so why would we get on a flight?
Yeah.
But if we did, we wouldn't have bought the extra knee room. That I can tell you. All right, just the community that it affects, the marginalized. And by the way, this is all Biden did was race hustle the entire time. What is this marginalized community you speak of who's affected by airlines charging you for knee room and baggage space?
I mean, if you feel oppressed by the price of extra knee room, then you just have bad priorities because nobody told you to hop on that flight. You could have driven, you could have stayed home, you could have taken a bus.
Also, how would you know when you were booking the ticket, how over online, how would they know who the marginalized communities were? They wouldn't know. Would they know if you were gay or trans?
Yeah,
or something like.
There's a checkbox now, I think.
You got to do the trans checkbox?
I am not a robot. I am not trans.
Oh, okay. And then what would happen for like Caitlyn Jenner? Is Caitlyn Jenner part of the marginalized community?
She's a robot, right? Sorry, I got confused.
All right, let's play. I want to know, just listen to the group. It's marginalized community, and it's poor people, and it's people of color.
But it all gets canceled out when you're a Trump supporter, though. So Caitlyn...
Oh, you're not... Yeah, you're no marginalized.
Caitlyn is just white.
Yeah, you're just white and tall.
Some airlines, if you want 6 more inches between you and the seat in front, you pay more money. But you don't know it until you purchase your ticket. Look, folks, these are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks and people of color.
It's like a boxer.
Right,
you
so
jab. You always jab. That's his jab.
Low-income people of color,
exactly,
marginalized. Yeah. Low-income people of color, marginalized.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's his mantra. Yeah. Okay. If somebody said to me, explain Joe Biden's administration, I go, watch his tape. And then they'd go, what the fuck is he talking about? And you go, exactly. But he did do a little race hustling. He's talking about baggage fees and junk fees and knee room, and he managed to get a little race hustle. In 19 seconds, he got a little race hustle in there. That's what Joe Biden does.
And you know he's proud of that, too. He probably left like, oh, I really did that. I got them all in this time.
I think he's happy about including all the races in his hustle this time. I like when he says low-income folks, like he makes it noble. Mm-hmm. These are mostly lazy people. I grew up with these fucking people. I'll give you an example. I was talking to my son, and I called him when I was coming home from doing 2 sold-out shows and not enjoying large beef ribs at the end. And I called him at like 11. I was driving home at like 11:30. I was at this goddamn shop moving stuff at like 8 in the morning, and at some point I drove to wherever Torrance and did 2 shows. And I was driving home like 11:30 night. He's 19, 18. And I said, listen, man, it's Saturday night. I'm working. Be prepared to work some weekends. I don't know what you're studying. I don't know what you think you're going to do, but be prepared to work some weekends. Because my mom, my dad, my grandma, nobody in my family ever worked one weekend ever. So listen, marginalized community or poor folk or whatever it is, got to work some weekends. You work some weekends, you buy a little knee room. That's the way it works. Yes. I shall be working this coming weekend as well. Do not define when you work and when you don't work. Just have jobs, do stuff. But that's Joe Biden. Now, the question is did Joe Biden know what he was saying? It's not his idea. Somebody put him up to this, but what does he think he's saying? And then what do they think he's saying? Because what he's saying, I've showed this to 10 people. It doesn't, they don't know what he's saying because it doesn't make sense.
You know, I find it ironic because we always say how the left is the side that's really good with linguistics and knowing how to word things in a way that makes it sound like it's so impactful when really the meaning of it is absolutely nothing. But they propped up Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who are just so far from articulate in any way. It's like I never understand what they're saying. Whenever Kamala especially speaks, I just want to ask for a transcript because I need to see what she just said written on paper. So I realize just how idiotic that scramble of words really was.
Yeah, she just had one, I think, on Broadway.
Oh, yeah. We got that in the news.
We'll wait on that for the news. But yeah, well, what they do is they put in a lot of sort of buzz phrases that sound like they mean something, but they don't really mean anything, or that aren't really executable. You know what I mean? Like, so when, the governor of New York or the mayor of New York says, if one person dies of COVID, that's one too many. Everyone nods, but then he ships a bunch of people to nursing homes and there's thousands of people dead. And so I'd like to agree with him. Yeah, that's one too many, except for there's a bunch of dead people from COVID already. So I'm not sure what your point is. This is the battle cry of these people where they go, nobody's illegal. Everyone needs to be treated with dignity. Everyone needs a seat at the table. I'm done. And everyone needs world-class education and healthcare. And that's what I believe. I believe I don't believe healthcare should be an option. And I don't believe education should be an option. I believe every child should have access to world-class healthcare and a world-class education. All right, let's get something to eat.
In the country they're from.
They just do it. It's a weird. I again, everything I learned from my Dumbo family who thought this way. But behind it, they were always super cheap and never did anything for anybody. That there was nothing ever behind it. Like Joe Biden makes a speech about knee room and marginalized people and the black community. That was 3 years ago, people. I don't know. Did something happen? I mean, did there some change or something was affected? Or I don't know what became of this process. By the way, I would have worked on bigger problems than knee room on commercial flights, if I was Joe. But that's what he wanted. He wanted to do this. I mean, Gavin Newsom told me the homeless problem was his number one issue 10 years ago in the studio. Now, that's maybe his number one issue, but nothing ever comes out the other end. He didn't solve anything or do anything.
When he brings up race and he wants to say, let's talk about black issues. The thing is there are so many things that affect obviously more than just black people, but that black people are particularly concerned about, like school choice and education standards, how low the literacy rates are, getting the crime out of the community, these progressive district attorneys keeping criminals on the street. But the thing is they don't talk about any of the conversations that minorities actually would care about, because then that would require action. It's much easier to talk about something that's irrelevant or that there are no feasible action steps, because then you can just talk this big talk and not do anything. It's like ask any black person who cares about the fees of getting extra leg room. Nobody cares about that. So are you
saying to the basic person in the black community, crime would be a higher priority than knee room?
100%.
Are you saying that? But you don't speak for the black community. That's just you. I bet if
I'm
I
Chinese.
Oh, that's right. You're Chinese now.
Yes.
if I spoke to other members of the black community, just sort of stopped them on the street, and I said, what's the biggest problem facing the black community today? They'd go knee room, then crime, then education.
Then something about Beyonce.
Yeah. And something about the Tuskegee Airmen not having as much knee room as some of the other pilots did.
Not gonna lie, I'm still traumatized from learning about Tuskegee as a child.
Oh, yeah.
Even as a liberal, like as woke as I was at that point, I was not getting that shot.
Oh, no.
No, not until I saw some other people try it first.
You're healthy and you're fit, so you don't need it.
Well, I felt like I didn't need it regardless, but in retrospect, I'm really glad I didn't get it, because I saw a lot of people who were young and healthy ended up having the most adverse effects from it. So still weirds me out.
How's your family, your immediate family, dealing with you now that you've gone Benedict Arnold on them?
All of the above. I have some family members who are supportive just in nature. Like, they don't necessarily agree with what I say, but they're just happy that I'm doing my thing. I have some people who have woken up with me, and then I have some that just completely exiled me. Like, I still have a sibling who refuses to speak to me, made all of his kids and his wife delete me on all social media. Wow. I was banned from going to a couple funerals because they said that I was a KKK member. Still trying to figure out how that would benefit me, but Apparently, I'm a white supremacist.
That's their justification. They're saying that you're a white supremacist, even though you're clearly full of melanin.
Yeah. Again, don't know how that would benefit me, but they said that that's the side that I'm on simply because I wanted limited government.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I always say weird, but I don't really mean weird. It's something sadder than weird. But the hustle, whenever I think they're going to drop it, or it's 2025, or these are modern times, they go hard. They still go hard with the race hustle. And it's kind of, it's embarrassing now. I find, I think it's a question I'll ask you, because I have asked certain like black comedians and stuff, like when white politicians are basically explaining that you can't get an ID and that you can't educate yourself or that you can't take care of your family. At some point, when does it become insulting?
Right.
Like, aren't you insulted if I, as an adult male who's half Italian, if every speech was about how retarded Italians were and they can't be held responsible because they're too fucked up to even get licenses or bring bottles of water to vote or whatever it is, like at a certain point I'd go, hey, cool it. It's sort of embarrassing.
Right.
That now, like, I wonder why the LeBron Jameses and the Oprahs and all the leaders in the black community don't like pipe up and go, we can get an ID. Next subject.
Because the bar is in hell. The standards are so low when it comes to communication to the black community. I mean, fear has been the Achilles heel of the black community for so long. Like, all you have to do is tell us, like, oh, you need to be afraid of police brutality or oppression or segregation is coming back. And then all these black people are going to be in an uproar and not do their own research because, again, for so long, we have been told what we need to think. We've been told the path that we need to go on. And now it's black people policing other black people with that same standard. One way that I got a few people to at least hear me out in the black community is I told them, I'm like, look at the way that Republicans are trying to reach the black community. They're talking to us about issues. They're going and shaking your hand. They're asking you, like, what is your quality of life like? Then you look at what Kamala Harris is doing to win the black community, and they have Meg Thee Stallion up there twerking. And it's like, okay, is this the club? Is that how you're trying to win us over? You think that we're so unintelligent that bringing Beyonce on stage to rip off Amber Rose's speech is all it takes to get us to be won over? And the sad part is that it works.
Well, how important is it to you to bring people, more black people over to your side than it is for you to just exist in this space as a commentator?
For me personally, my goal isn't even necessarily to get black people on my side or to tell black people what to think. I just want black people to think. I just want more independent-minded people in general, particularly in the black community, because it's exhausting to me how so many people keep themselves in this box and then they think they're oppressed. It's like, no, you're not systemically oppressed. You are systemically disempowered, where you have allowed messaging to strip away all of your own mental capabilities of what it is that you're able to do and the access you have in this world. And then when someone like me says that, and because like I live a comfortable life now, I get to go to Air One. It's like a whoop-de-doo. So they'll be like, oh, where you came from money? It's like, no, I didn't. I come from the trenches of Southside Chicago. But you know what I chose from a very young age? I chose to go to class, to get straight A's, to go to college, to work, work on weekends.
So is it safe to say, so you don't believe in systemic racism?
Not anymore. I think that there are certain industries that have elements of that. Like, I think the entertainment space has a lot of systemic issues still, but ironically, that's a more left-leaning space. But I think as a nation, just by definition, there is not systemic racism. If anything, people of color are in a position of privilege when you look at the way that certain standards, and I hate to say it like this, certain standards are lower. The barrier of entry to get into a college is lower when you are a certain minority group. There are companies that have diversity quotas. So you can't say that there's systemic oppression while also being systemically subsidized.
You're saying it's swung back way hard the other way. That's what you're saying.
It has. And I can understand why it was like that in the mid-1900s. But nowadays, I feel like the focus needs to be put elsewhere.
Well, there's a third element here. And I'm going to tell my team to, because it's comical, Admiral Levine, my favorite. I'm going to miss that thing. Admiral Levine gave the speech on like Black History Month about how how climate change affected black people more when you're talking about sort of condescending bullshit that's just there to agitate black people. So we'll find that. Now, what Mayhem is referring to, and this is the conversation that is never had. It's never had, which is you go, okay, but what about cops? And what about cops pulling over black people and that kind of stuff? You go, don't tell me blah, blah, blah. So, or what about, okay, let's get rid of the cops. New York cab drivers not wanting to pick up a black man, at night in the wrong neighborhood. Don't tell me. Okay. So now this is the conversation that's never had. Cab drivers and cops and whatever, they're not in the business. Cops aren't in the business of pulling people over and then sort of finding nothing and then going, all right, go about your way, because that's just a waste of their time. I can tell you, as a poor white person who drove a kind of beater pickup truck, I got pulled over a lot back in the day. And now, never. Because I drive a new car, I intentionally leave the dealer cardboard plate on it because it's like, oh God, I'm just gonna look up this guy's license plate or whatever it is. You drive a nice car. So they go, oh, white guy. No. Oh, rich guy. Yeah, because there's a much lesser chance. They need a return on their investment. Their investment is pulling me over. They need some expired this or license that or driving under whatever, DUI, whatever that thing is. The poor Mexican in the pickup truck, you're going to find some fruit on that tree when you pull that person over. There'll be something. Something.
Yeah.
White dude, no. But now you go back to New York cab driver. So they go, okay, black man getting pulled over by New. Well, New York cab drivers, all they want is to get paid and not get stabbed and go home.
Literally.
That's all they want. So if there's a black man and black men are creating a disproportionate number of violent crimes, then the cab driver, who's not a white guy, cab drivers from somewhere else. Like, this is the part they don't tell you. The cab driver's from a different country. And all that guy knows is that dude statistically will rob me higher than the white dude will. But, by the way, if there's an Asian woman over here, I will pick her up before I'll pick up the white guy, because all I want to do is get paid and get home. And if I went and drove, think about any of us. Let's just say you drive a cab, but you go to Uzbekistan, and you're just driving. I'm making up a place, but you go there. But when you go there, they go, these dudes who look like this, they're a higher percentage of creating crime. Like, not all of them, but you're better off picking up that dude than you are picking up that. Well, then if you're driving at night through Uzbekistan and you're a cab driver, I was driving a cab, I'd be much less likely to pick that dude up.
I'd be racist, but I will be alive.
Right. I would try to pick up women, Asians. I got other cultures that'll go before white guy. So now you get in this thing where you go, don't tell me there's not racism. But let's not forget, there is a lot of self-imposed racism. If your group is going to be disproportionately involved with violent crime, then yes, you will get profiled. And if your group is going to do a lot of smash and grabs, then yes, when you come into the store, people are going to watch you. And then you're going to get offended. Why are you watching me? Because your group disproportionately is involved in these crimes. That's how it works. And people will not let that go, and they shouldn't let it go. That's our wiring. So you can say, oh, I am being monitored basically in this store just because I'm a young black man with a hoodie on. Yes, you are. And until your group does not participate in those types of crimes, you shall be monitored. That's how it works. Sorry. No one's going to write it on paper. It's not going to be a company-wide memo at Target, but yes, that's how it works. And conversely, it's not like white guys get off the hook. Women, an elderly woman will be monitored the least. Yeah. There's a pecking order. It's not just white man, black man. There's all different races. And the first one who gets picked up before anybody by the cab driver is a woman. That's the least.
I mean, this is why I tend to hyper focus on the black community so much, because it's like, yes, there is stereotyping out there, but I need black people to stop giving people a reason to be stereotyped. I had a video go viral on TikTok a few months ago because this just happened to me. I got racially profiled in a Nordstrom, and as irritated as I was as I'm sitting here trying to get my shoes, I couldn't even blame them that much because just a couple months before, this same mall was just getting robbed. And all these different videos at all these different department stores in LA of people just going in and robbing them. What do they look like?
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but they often look like me just without my Chinese genetics. So it pisses me off when I see black people going out and acting a fool and making our entire community look bad because, like you said, disproportionate amount of violent crime. 54% of the murders in this country come from black people. If black people stopped doing that, and obviously it's not majority of black people within the community, but that small group within the community is making our entire community look bad. And I can't blame people for having certain aversions. But even with that, even with the certain cab drivers who won't pick up a black person, there's a difference between systemic racism and circumstantial racism. A lot of people try to put words in my mouth and say that I don't think racism exists at all. I actually just did a whole debrief on this on my show, Respectfully Xavier, on YouTube, where I was looking at some of my old content where I used to view everything through the lens of race. And in retrospect, I've realized, oh no, because this particular person is being racist or because I might have had a racist boss, that does not mean the entire system of America is racist. There's always going to be ignorant racist people, but realizing individualized racism or circumstantial racism is different from systemic racism completely changed my worldview.
I agree. We have Admiral Levine. Buckle up, black people, because this she dressed
Is
like
he going to rap?
Salva. It's she.
Oh, my bad.
She.
Hello.
It's going to tell you about climate change for black people during Black History Month.
What the hell?
Hello. I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. This Black History Month, I'm pleased to partner with OMH in advancing better health through better understanding for black communities. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of black communities. Black Americans are more likely.
I will also explain. I'll go look. Someone will go, what's the Biden administration? What was that like? What was that 4 years like? I'll go, I got 19 seconds of Joe Biden, and then this thing, I got a minute and 8 seconds. You watch these two, you're still under a minute and a half. You'll know everything about the Biden. You'll be an expert. What was it? It was 4 years of this. We could talk about Afghanistan and we could talk about tariffs or whatever, taxes, anything, or you could just watch these two tapes and then you'd know exactly what Joe Biden was for 4 years. All right. So it affects the black community at a greater instances than it does white people. We're kind of, by the way, maybe it affects the black people more, but I don't see a lot of black faces at the rallies. I feel like that's the white woman's territory. Greta Thunberg was pretty white last I checked. Like all the celebrities and all the blowhard chick celebrities. I'm saying climate change is kind of our hockey.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right,
that ain't the NBA.
Yeah. What's so confusing to me about this video is aren't white people the ones getting sunburns? Black people aren't the ones being affected by the changes in climate. Be so for real.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Admiral Levine in a two-piece out there slathering on the PABA. All right, she's going to go on. Now, it's going to go on and explain that, like, black people get surveyed and say they have anxiety about it. But this is another bullshit move where, like, you say to people, what do you think of the environment? Pretty freaked out? And you go, yeah. And they go, okay. Because listen to these statistics.
Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of black communities.
Physical.
Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact.
Oh, really?
Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice.
I'll tell you what it is. I live in Malibu. It's all the black people live right there on the beach. They're scared that the tide. Oh, there's no black people in Malibu. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Say, well, where are the black people you speak
There's
of?
zero. There's zero. There's one black dude I used to see walking up
Dr.
along
Dre?
the hill.
Probably Nigerian.
And he was like, he explained himself. He's like, oh, hey, Adam, big fan. And I was like, you know who I am? And he goes, yeah, man. See you on the Byron Allen show. And I was like, okay, now we're back. And we're back. All right. So 65% of the black community says that it gives them anxiety because they live in places where the climate is worse, even though it's the same place that white people live.
No, I read about this. It's people like a lot of black people live near low-lying rivers. That's what they're referring to.
Oh my God!
And then they flood, and then you're out of a house.
That's what she's talking about. Yeah. Okay, keep playing. I mean, they, it.
Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers
and
community.
What the fuck you think that's costing us?
I don't know.
Environment. The Office of Environmental Justice.
Doge
How many fucking millions is that? How many schools could have been built if we got rid of those two offices right there?
We could have had water in the Palisades.
We could have had water in the Palisades if they just gotten rid of those two offices. God, imagine all the grift and the graft and the money that is just pouring into the environmental justice. Oh, God. Okay. Sorry. Go back 10 seconds. I want to hear those two offices one more time.
Their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change. Visit HHS.
Right. Is this cow saying anything? Is any of this any of this happening? Is there something? You're gonna go talk to leaders, and here's what I'm saying. These are all process people. This is process. They don't want to get shit done. Elon Musk and Trump want to get shit done. These people want to talk about having meetings with community leaders and a seat at the table. All they want to do is talk. Nobody wants to do anything. No one wants to build anything. These days. No one wants to work. They just want to sit and talk about it.
I mean, I need to know, when you say 65% of black people, who are the black people that you got to take this survey? What black people did you get to say, oh, I want to do a survey about how I'm affected by climate change? It's like,
no, it's weird because they have a whole office that makes you scared of climate change. And then they go, hey, are you scared of climate change?
Let me tell you how these tests work. Anyone's ever taken one of those "Are you an alcoholic?" tests? Are you an alcoholic? It's like, do you find yourself enjoying social situations with a cocktail in your hand? You go, oh, yeah, I guess I'd like that. Do you find that after a stressful day, you want to reach for a glass of wine? Like, yeah, I could see that. Do you like a beer during the weekends to celebrate? I was like, You find it easier to approach people in social environments if you've had a couple of drinks. Like, yeah, so it probably takes the edge off. After you say yes to 18 out of 20 of these questions, if you had said yes to 2 or more, like 2 or more, two or more, are you kidding? Yeah. All right.
4 more years of that, and I literally would have slit my wrist.
Oh, my God.
I can't do it anymore.
Oh, my God. EPA will empower community efforts to confront and overcome persistent pollution challenges in underserved communities that have often led to worse health and economic outcomes over the decades. $3 billion in the environmental and climate justice grants. $3 billion.
The B.
You understand, if they'd ship that $3 billion out to California, we could have 8 foot more train track from Bakersfield to Merced. We really could have used that money for something.
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest thing that I can never figure out is we're simultaneously out of money and simultaneously have as much money to waste on anything as much as we can. Like you literally go, we got to get some of these schools in the deep San Fernando Valley air conditioning because it's 107 degrees sometimes in May and June. And people go, we don't have the money to put an air conditioner wall mount unit. That's like, we have $3 billion for the Environmental Justice League. Like, why don't we have $186 for a window unit for the school in Pacoima?
It would make too much sense. I mean, one of my favorite pastimes is just going and seeing all the stupid things that our government spends money on. I recently learned that we are funding essentially a DEI Sesame Street in Iraq, as if they're ever going to worship, black, gay, obese, trans people in the way that America does. Right. And we're just supposed to be okay with that's where our money is going to. It's like it's constantly BS that we are spending all of our funds on as if Flint, Michigan doesn't still have polluted water.
It is, it was summed up very succinctly here, as I brought up before, when Gavin Newsom was in here. I was like, Gavin, I just want to start with the big stuff and get to and he goes, I like to work small to big. And I was I believe it now that my house is burnt down, but okay. But that's sort of their weirdness, is they like this stuff. And the infrastructure part, like the pothole filling part and the building dams and the clearing the forest, that's just boring shit. They didn't get elected for that. They got elected to make like big sweeping social changes. And that's why every speech is about being free to love who you want to love. But there's no pothole talk. Pothole talk, that's like your dad's politician. That's like 50s guy. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck? They thought that so Kamala Harris was here to make sweeping social change in the fabric of America, not deal with boring shit like aqueducts and clearing the fire, brush in the forest and stuff. That's like, But it is kind of, we need mundane stuff. Like, you have to be boring. Like, you want a boring politician who's just kind of like, clean up the garbage, clean up the graffiti, fill the potholes, crime. They're not into that. They're in these big sweeping social change. Barack Obama was like hope and change. It was all change. It wasn't maintenance based. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's going on with the water or the pipes or Flint, Michigan, or like I said, like, what is less sexy than managing the forest? Like when you go to your bullshit cocktail party, do you think you want to talk to the Hollywood elite about clearing brush? Mm-hmm. That's boring shit. You want to talk about sweeping social change that you're enacting.
I mean, maybe the prior generations, but Gen Z is so over it. I feel like Gen Z, we are all just sick and tired of this talk of, we want to make sure you feel good. We want to make sure everybody's happy and included. Some people need to be excluded. A little bit of exclusivity does a lot for people. It makes them, reevaluate situations. And then when it comes to just like feeling good and loving who you love, we're going to do that anyway. Everybody's going to go and live their life the way that they want to at this point. Like, the reason that Gen Z is so over, particularly Gen Z males are so over this BS, is because we want to talk about the fact that everything that should be accessible to us has become so unbearingly expensive that we no longer can get there anymore. We want to talk about the fact that, like, I'm not afraid. I love to talk about environmentalism or climate change. I'm very interested in that conversation, but let's actually have conversations that are relevant, such as what are we doing to make it more feasible for us to be clean? What are we doing with nuclear energy? How are we actually going to address not having water in by the Palisades?
They don't want to. That's all nuts and bolts shit. And they don't want to get
about it now.
I know, but it defeats their arguments of good vibes. We have 18 seconds of Gavin Newsom on this show explaining he likes to work small to big.
Very small. Well, I don't know about that. With huge socioeconomic issues,
here's all
with generational poverty, there's a lot of other issues.
In government, start big, and then we'll get down to the small stuff.
I like sweating the small stuff and then getting the big stuff. I think it's the opposite.
Thank you.
It's bottom-up thinking, not top-down thinking.
All right.
I know that.
Fucking so. You're gonna hear me going.
Yeah, exactly. I know that.
All right, princess. We have a new retarded princess who rode in on this retarded pony and has a horrible fucking idea. But by the way, to be fair to Gavin Newsom, he doesn't know what he's saying. He's just saying, I like to work small to big. That doesn't mean anything. And by the way, from a governmental standpoint, that means you want to work on one stop sign at one intersection that's not by anyone's house versus aqueducts and things like that. All right, he's a fucking retarded narcissist, which is weird. It's also weird that people put up with it. But anyway.
Retardicist.
He's a retardicist. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do some news right after this. Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just a house or property. It's the location. It's the neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also schools, nearby parks, transportation options, all the above. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking about deep. That's right. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know, all in one place. Homes.com. Homes.com. We've done your homework. Well, you want to start a business, your own business, a small business, and grow it this year. Let's do this. And now's the best time to start. Shopify is going to help you. I started a business, and I use Shopify, and I'm glad I did. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. Get your store up and running. It's easy, and they've got thousands of customizable templates. They can help you with all the details like shipping, taxes, payments from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff like growing your business, because you want to be freed up to grow your business, not burdened with the nickel and dime stuff. Let Shopify help you with that. With Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. It's Shopify, right, Dawson?
Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Carolla.
Home chef drowning in a sea of meal kit options. It's like a bad dating game show, and all the contestants look the same. That's where Home Chef comes in. Fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Over 30 options a week covering a variety of dietary needs. The one I tried recently, which was great, which was urban crusted salmon with garlicky zucchini. That's right, it's garlicky. I don't know if they made that word up, but that's what it's called, and peppers, and it was real good. And you do save money as well. Save an average of $86 per month on groceries. That's right, because go to the grocery store, man. You don't get out of there for under $300 these days. Home Chef even has a delicious kid-friendly menu with 18 new options each week for picky eaters. It is approved. It is the best meal deal on the planet Earth. Am I right, Dawson?
For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. Just go to homechef.com/Adam. That's homechef.com/Adam for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard that right. Homechef.com/Adam. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bam! You know the song, right? They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and all the parts and knowledge you need to maintain and repair your automobile. Always been an O'Reilly guy. Used to go to the one out in North Hollywood when I was over there. Then I moved to La Crescenta. Went to the one up on Foothill. Still swing by there every once in a while because I'm a hands-on guy. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best off, they're friendly, because some of those auto parts guys can be a little tough around the edges. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today, or you can visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
We're playing Cars. All we heard was like a big boom, and then we just were shook and we were like paralyzed, and we didn't know what happened. So we went outside and we were like, "Oh fuck, there's a fire!" And then I went to go grab my dad's fire extinguisher.
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Yeah, man. What's going on? I'm doing a bunch of shows coming up, San Luis, Monterey, and Napa, and I think San Luis, and you got to check the order, Dawson, but I think that's the order. Yeah, I think Monterey's got some tickets, but Napa and San Luis Obispo is going. So I think, and I think you got the order right there. But that's coming up February 28th, March 1st, and March 2nd. All right, Xavier and Mayhem, you want to get going with a little news here?
Yeah, here's some news. We alluded to it earlier, but Kamala Harris made a Broadway cameo and dished up some of her classic word salad. Let's let the video speak for itself.
Well, she made her Broadway cameo.
She did.
Because if you make a Broadway cameo now, you can do that in Van Nuys in your kitchen. Right?
I think so, yeah.
We're getting real granular with verbiage, you know? Yeah. Also, it was a R&B band from the 80s or 90s.
Oh, yeah, cameo?
Cameo, you must have been hot for them.
Yeah, the jam.
All right, sorry, this is her. Oh, my goodness.
I don't get out much these days. And then, but spirit's tired, but it cannot be defeated. Don't let anybody defeat that. Because then what do we have left? When we think about like these moments where we see things that are being taken, but also let's see it as nature abhors a vacuum. So where there's a vacancy, then let's fill it, right? And let's know that the reality is that the progress of our nation has always been about the expansion of rights, not the restriction of rights. We're seeing a U-turn right now. For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. It's this beautiful play and everything that we know he ended. He was suppressed. He had to suppress so much, but he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed. And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something. And that's our optimism, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll leave.
They just cringed my balls inside.
She loves rights. She's all for the rights. But 10 minutes ago, her administration was trying to force everyone to get experimental vaccination against their will or get fucking shit canned from their government job or any job. So is she that into rights? I don't know. I feel like forcing people to be vaccinated, especially when it was something that didn't affect them if you were young and you're healthy. Forcing kids to get vaccinated when they didn't need vaccinations. Would that be... What side of the rights argument are you on with that argument?
Yeah, the internet went buck wild on her, calling her drunk and auntie vibes. Yeah.
Well, also, listen, I got to say something. There is a problem with too much positivity around you. Now, people think you can't have enough positivity around you, but a little negativity will keep you in the lane. That you need to be in. And like I said, my friends, when I grew up, one time I worked with a guy who was from Durango.
Yeah.
And his name was Kelly. And we installed closets, but he was in a band. And he had black cowboy boots. And I thought they were kind of cool. And so I went out and I bought myself some black cowboy boots. And then the next Saturday night, I walked out with my black cowboy boots on, and my old friends from the neighborhood, I said, now we're going out. And they go, no, those fucking boots, pussy. Take those fucking boots off. We're not going out with your fucking cowboy ass. No, you look gay. No, you're not doing it. They didn't nod their head and applaud. They made fun of me, and then I took the boots off, and I never wore them again. So when she's giving her speech, let's run her speech again.
Man, do we have to?
But when she's saying something that's nonsensical, instead of everyone going, Oh, yeah. They need Mayhem yelling, what the fuck you talking about, bitch?
What the fuck you talking about, bitch?
Yeah, now let's weave it in. But if enough guys stop going, like, I used to sit in an office with Jimmy Kimmel. I'd go, I got a real funny idea for a bit, you know, and then I'd pitch it to him and he'd go, that's not funny. I go, I thought it was funny. Yeah, well, no one else does. So moving on. If he just laughed hysterically at everything, then I'd have a bunch of lame bits because there would be no vetting process. So she doesn't have a vetting process for her words because she only goes to friendly places and gives speeches, and everyone just goes, They should be, well, let's try it.
Everything that we know, he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much, but he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed. And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right?
What the fuck you talking about, bitch?
But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
That's the word.
What does it even mean?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Go ahead. Come on, one more.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Everything that we know, he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much, but he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed. And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right?
No!
These things all coexist.
That's gobbledygook!
But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
Oh, obviously!
Yeah, that's good. I like bitch. I like a little more insulting, but we can work on it. That's good.
Right, can I just say that listening to Kamala Harris has the same effect on the brain as a person with dyslexia trying to read? Because it's like my brain is just scrambled.
Yeah, I know. I felt like I had schizophrenia right then.
Right. I want to get drunk with her so bad. I would love to go get bottomless mimosas with her and just hear her say the dumbest shit and just gas her up, because my toxic trait is when I'm talking to someone who's stupid and delusional, I will gas them up. I'm like, you know what? We're about to do what we're about to do, and what we're doing is what we have been doing, and the time is now to do what we should have did. I'm like, yes, queen. Go ahead, auntie. You better go. You know what? We need another one. Get her a guava mimosa right now.
Yeah, it's the process people versus the let's do shit people, and the process people don't want to do anything. Like Rick Caruso is a commercial developer who wants to do shit. And Karen Bass is a process person who wants to talk about shit. And that's, we shouldn't have process people in the we need shit done departments. We can't have them in that world. They don't work as football coaches or like offensive coordinators or mayors or presidents. They don't, and we somehow like it. Women like it more than men. They want to hear the talk over and over and go, oh yeah. Yeah, but nothing comes out the other end. And I think we're getting to the end of it. I hope. All right, what else you got, Mayhem?
All right, moving on from Kamala. California under fire for $9.5 billion spending on healthcare for illegal immigrants amid a budget crisis.
Yeah, but no one's illegal. Remember, no human's illegal, and everyone deserves access to world-class healthcare.
Yeah, California Democratic leadership is facing intense criticism as new reports reveal that the state is spending the $9.5 billion on healthcare for illegal immigrants. And that's why a lot of people in California are suffering. Emergency rooms are overflowing, creating dangerous wait times for patients. Hospitals are struggling to stay afloat because of the influx of illegal immigrants. Hardworking families find it increasingly difficult to afford their own health care, despite paying some of the highest taxes in the nation.
Well, they do this thing all the time. They're like, these people do nothing but come and contribute and do the jobs Americans won't do. This is such bullshit.
A lie from the pit of hell.
I agree.
In my tiny little cornfield town, every single summer, there would be busloads of illegal immigrants who would come in and stay at this ghetto motel called the Palomar, and they would wreak havoc all over.
And you're talking about Illinois when you guys moved out to the sticks?
Yeah. When we were out in the country, every single year, these illegal immigrants would come. They would tear up like our soccer fields that we would practice on. They would be doing all this crime. Like, I cannot express enough how pro mass deportation I am. And then every time I say that, people are like, oh, you're we're going to hell. Well, if I go to hell, at least I'll have the documentation to be there.
Ooh,
okay, you are illegal in this country. So like, oh, like no person's illegal. If you are not supposed to be here, then what else are you? Because let me go to Mexico or to one of these other countries and try to tell them how to run their country and tell them that they need to be giving me benefits.
Well, there's certain things. Like, I work with plenty of legal dudes doing construction my whole life. I work with dudes that had like 6 DUIs. And it's a culture thing. It's like in the world they're from, you knock off on a Wednesday at 3:30 and you pound a couple beers like on the job site. You catch a buzz and then you get in the truck and you drive back to your old lady. You know what I mean? Like, they're not culturally, that's where they're at. That's why they have so many DUIs, because it's like they're not like us culturally. There's certain things that are different.
I'll call ICE. I'll call ICE on all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So also, if Canada said we're building a border wall, would any of us be offended? I'd be like, it's their country.
I'd grab a shovel and help.
And would you want to, anyone you knew, like if there was somebody who you knew who just wandered into Canada and it's like, well, where's Brett? Well, he's in Canada. Oh. Well, now they found him and they're bringing him back. Would you be outraged, or would you just be like, yeah, I guess Canada has the right to have borders and laws and they're a sovereign nation, so they can do what they want. Why is everyone so fucking outraged when we do it? You know, a wall, you can come here, you have to do it legally and lawfully, and then you can hang out here.
I mean, the analogy I give to people, it's like, okay, if you have a fence or a gate around your house, what is it that you're trying to do? And it's like, you're just creating that extra barrier of safety and protection so random people aren't just sitting in your backyard. It's like, is that not the exact same thing? You don't have room at your table for every single illegal immigrant or every single person to come and eat dinner at your table. So why would we do that in our country?
Well, and also, I mean, really just think about the math. Like, if there's a whole bunch of extra people here that are using the system, then yes, forget about the hospital rooms. Forget about the hospital rooms or the emergency rooms. Let's do it this way. Much easier to do. When I was young, you could go to the park on a Saturday and you could go use the baseball diamond or make a nice football field in the patch of grass in the middle, whatever. You go there now, there's 29 soccer games going on. You don't get the baseball diamond or the patch of grass because there's a whole bunch of illegals playing soccer and taking up the whole fucking field. Now, you can go, those are noble people, or those are good people, those are whatever. There's not an infinite amount of space at parks. There's not an infinite number of parks and baseball diamonds. If there's going to be a whole bunch of people here who like playing soccer, they're going to get there at 7 o'clock on Saturday. And when you and your white buddies roll up at noon, there's going to be no field left for your ass. That's how it works. So it's not so different than the emergency room, which is if there's a bunch of people that are here and they just happen to get to the emergency room before you, then you're going to show up and you're going to get behind them in line and you're going to have to wait for the baseball diamond or the soccer field. How else would this go?
I mean, that's literally what happened in my childhood. When I say that these illegal immigrants would go and be playing, and trust me, I know they're illegal because a lot of them would get deported. They would go and play soccer on our football training field, and then we would ask them to move, and then they would say, can we just have 10 minutes? No, get your ass off of our grass. Go pick up the credentials that it requires to be here, and then I'll be a little less pissed off. But it's not like these people come over here and they're mindful to our system. They weren't mindful when they came here, so of course they're not mindful when they're here. I'm for, proper immigration, people having the credentials to be here. But don't piss me off and come over here with no birth certificate, no visa, no green card, and then have the audacity to tell us how to run our country.
How close were you to DeKalb, Illinois?
Not that far. I think the way I was driving, probably an hour.
The first college Drew and I ever went to was DeKalb in northern Illinois.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. They just booked us to play a college. I was like, what are we going to do, Drew? Like, let's go up there and talk for a while.
No one knows what they're doing in Illinois.
I don't know what's going on. But we got to DeKalb, Illinois, and I found out 2 things. They invented barbed wire in DeKalb. That's that. And the second is Cindy Crawford is from DeKalb.
Very nice. American treasure.
Claim. Yeah. Yeah, but I kept saying to them, it's not where you're born, it's where you end up. she was born in DeKalb, Illinois, and left when she was 13 and never came back to DeKalb, Illinois. That's not a tip of the cap to DeKalb. That's a random. Where you're born is random. Where you move to now as an adult, that's you making a decision. So now she lives in Malibu. So Malibu should be bragging that Cindy Crawford decided to move into Malibu, not DeKalb, Illinois, bragging about Cindy Crawford's dad forgot to pull out 13 years ago. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So DeKalb, quit bragging about the person that immediately left and is never coming back. I don't know. It's a weird brag. It's the person got old enough to buy a bus ticket and left.
Yeah.
That's not that means you have a bad city, not a good city. The good-looking person wanted to leave.
Well, they want to be proud about something.
Well, they got barbed wire. They invented barbed wire, but then I explained to them, did you really invent barbed wire? Because wire and barbs existed. You just kind of made a peanut butter cup out of them. You don't think someone would have invented barbed wire? See if DeKalb, Illinois invented barbed wire and if Cindy Crawford was from there. But, man, you realize when you get out of Chicago, you get into the sticks it gets pretty rural pretty fast out there, right?
Everything in my town was about corn. Like, we were the Corn Belt Conference. If you won a trophy, it was a golden corn cob. Like, everything was about corn in that town.
And they brought all the migrants or illegals in to do all the corn harvesting?
Yes. Every single summer, it would be like 3 busloads. The Palomar Hotel was the pit of hell. Every time that there was a murder in town, it either happened at Fell Park, where the degenerates went, or Palomar Hotel, motel, where all the illegals went. They even shut down one of the buildings, and they still went and stayed there.
Joseph F. Glidden invented barbed wire in DeKalb, Illinois. Patented 1874. Glidden was known as the father of barbed wire. Also, that could be confused with the person who played the dad of Pam Anderson in the 90s classic Barbed Wire.
Yes. Right.
Because that also was the father of Wire. Barbara Wire.
You know what's unfortunate about DeKalb? They have a corn festival, and they do not call it Corn on DeKalb.
Oh, you should be running for mayor of that
Seriously,
place.
I could win with that.
Cindy Crawford is also from DeKalb. Yeah, see, don't say I don't pay attention when you're talking to me about DeKalb, Illinois. I remember very well. And the other thing I remember, too, I'm from L.A. This is 1998, 97. And at some point when you do these things, you do the whole event, but the student union wants to meet with you and have dinner with you, and they do like a little part where they pay you, and then you go talk in front of 3,000 students. But before that, there's a thing where it's like the student union and some of the leaders want to have you for dinner or some event that just for them, take pictures and whatever. And we went to some old firehouse and something, and we're doing some dinner or whatever, and they pulled a casserole out. And I'm from North Hollywood. I'm like, I haven't seen a casserole since 1973. Like, oh, we eat casserole here. And I'm like, I like casserole. I just haven't seen a casserole in 26 years. This is crazy. But it made me realize, oh, this is Farm Belt. This is casserole country.
That's so Midwestern. Everything can be a casserole in Illinois.
They shouldn't call it flyover country. They should call it casserole country because it's got alliteration. It's like what Dawson was saying with
right.
Yeah. Sorry. Casserole country.
I love a good green bean casserole.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's a Pontiac delicacy.
No, nobody should have ever fucked with the tuna casserole or the green bean casserole. Casserole was never broken. Why did we get away from it? I mean, we're too snooty here in LA. You know, we want to lower ourselves. You know, we decided, oh, there's something called sushi and we should do that. No, man, casserole.
Cutting carbs.
Peak Caucasian culture is casserole. White people make the greatest casseroles. I will never even trust a black person's casserole. It has to be from the Caucasus Mountains, or I don't want it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's white man's fare. That we do casserole. Don't mess with us.
And some celebrity news. Pete Davidson claims he was harassed about his love life because he's ugly. despite dating Hollywood hot girls. The comedian and former Saturday Night Live cast member has candidly addressed it. He's been linked to a lot of prominent figures, including pop star Ariana Grande, TV mogul Kim Kardashian. And reflecting on the media's portrayal, he remarked, "Everyone is dating everyone. It's Hollywood. But because I'm ugly, they wrote about me. I was harassed for like 5 years, and it made my life a living hell."
Shut the hell up, Pete. I'm sorry.
Pete.
It's like, okay, I'm so sorry. You got to date Kim Kardashian, Kate Beckinsale, and Ariana Grande. What did you think was going to happen when you dated some of the most prominent women in our entire nation? And now you want to sit here and play the victim like, oh no, like I'm famous and people asking me questions. Shut the hell up. Why did you even become a public figure if that was something that you were going to moan about?
We're looking
objectively.
People like parody. They like, like the guy has to be as good looking, and we like people to look somewhere in the same ballpark. Kate Beckinsale, oh man.
Yeah.
You talk all you want about the Kardashians, but Kate Beckinsale, that's good. And I don't know, is there anyone better looking over 50?
Probably not.
I mean, Kate Beckinsale's like 54 years old and still a smoke show.
Say competing with Halle Berry.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right, which goes to show that when you have the genetic hand, like the cut, I just call it a certain cut. Like Halle Berry takes all these provocative pictures because like you would too if that was just... You can age, you can get as old as you want, you're still going to have that same shape. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Kate Beckinsale, 51, Halle Berry's, I don't know, 57 or 58. Wow. 58, but she still has that shape. And then you see chicks that are 14 that don't, it ain't about the age.
Yeah.
It's about the cut.
Yeah.
Now, crow's feet start kicking in and stuff starts, hanging a little bit. But Halle Berry has a shape, and time is not going to mess with her shape. It'll mess with some skin stuff and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I know she's had some work, but even Jane Fonda's like 1,000, and she still looks good.
I know, and sounds sharper than ever.
Yeah.
She's a genius, that one. Jesus Christ. All right, sorry. I think Henry... Wait, what Fonda's coming on this show this week? Peter Fonda?
We got a Fonda in the wings.
Oh, no, we got a Carradine. Sorry, we got a Carradine. The Carradines, the Fondas, we got it. All right, sorry.
Davidson's comments shed light on challenges celebrities face with their private lives become public spectacles, often leading to unwarranted judgment and scrutiny.
Yeah, but don't date super famous chicks.
Yeah.
Right? That's all.
Yeah, he could just date a normal chick.
Easy to do.
It's like it's because people benefit so much from playing the victim that he has just realized that it's the niche that he was going to go into for a long time. Because, I mean, Jay-Z has been ugly as hell for a very long time, and he hasn't been complaining about being called ugly while dating Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there looking like a live crustacean, but he's still happy with his life.
Yeah, I don't know if his tentacle hair is working out.
Yeah. He does look like Davy Jones.
Yeah. I agree. So listen, like Pete Holmes is cute. He's like
Pete Davidson.
Pete Holmes. Pete Davidson. Pete Holmes is easy on the eyes too. Pete, they're both comedians. Pete Davidson is cute in a kind of puppy dog, I'll kind of save you kind of way. And Jay-Z is not. He's a little homely. There's such a thing as homely. So they like Pete. And then once, but look, here's how women work. Women, it's the same. Look, handbags. What's the deal with handbags and women? Who needs a $20,000 handbag? If you see a $20,000 handbag and then you see some knockoff being sold on the streets of Manhattan, it's the same. Same materials and everything. It's just not authentic. But what are we talking about? Other women want it. Other women covet it. That's where the argument starts. And all you got to do is get Kate Beckinsale to go around town with you for a while. Then you guys break up, and then Kim Kardashian comes in because Kate Beckinsale is one of the most beautiful women in the world. And if she's with you, then I have the okay to be with you. That's how that works.
Yeah.
That's when the dominoes start falling.
They elevate you to a whole new tier. Like the second Ariana Grande and Pete broke up, I knew he was going to be with a list of famous women after that because he has the cosign now, the stamp of approval. They have entire shows about people who've been divorced by their famous husbands. The Real Housewives, majority of these are like basketball wives. Majority of these people aren't even married to the people who made them famous anymore, but they're still famous just because they used to get shacked up with some of these famous people, like Shaq.
We got Jay-Z and Joe Camel.
Spot on. Oh man.
And that's a flattering picture of Jay-Z, mind you.
Yeah. Yes. It's the most handsome day.
He's actually moisturized and hydrated that day.
All right, but what about Chris Carter and Godzuki in the fake? No, but in the annals of a real celebrity person, Chris Carter, Hall of Fame, Minnesota Vikings, just caught touchdowns. And Godzuki, who's Godzilla's son, in the fake department. Don't. Why? I mean, who's closer? Because who's closer to a creature that man just drew?
Yeah.
I mean, although man didn't draw Godzuki, he was made like out of styrofoam. But is Jay-Z closer to Joe Camel or is Chris Carter closer to Godzuki?
Yeah, I'm voting Godzuki all the way.
I gotta go Jay-Z. I mean, you can't convince me this isn't the same image.
Back to Godzuki.
Have you ever seen Robert Parrish next to Calibus from Clash of the Titans?
No. Celtics
it's
Robert Parrish?
Yeah.
No.
Dig that up.
All right. Work on that. Got another story, Mayhem?
Well, yeah, Saturday Night Live, we're talking about Pete Davidson, celebrates his 50 years and his rankings of the top cast members. I don't know if you have your favorite, but there's some highlights here.
Pete Davidson cannot be anywhere near that list. Ever,
no.
Right?
I mean, he's not on this list, that's for sure.
I mean, if you went top 2,000.
I know. Yeah, he was a nice bit player. He was like I don't know,
he was the worst. He was
yeah.
He was amongst the worst on that show.
But he was the only guy who could play Rami Malek. They looked exactly the same. They did a funny bit where they were each other.
All right.
But some highlights from the top 30 here. Bobby Moynihan from 2008 to 2017. A lot of versatile characters, and including the memorable drunk uncle. Monahan's 9-season tenor showcases ability to blend.
Wait, what number is he coming in?
I mean, this is just highlights from the top 30.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't give me the exact
I think
one.
Moynihan would make that, but all right.
Yeah, I thought he had some good bits, and also on the Christmas special, he did he always had this funny song that he would do. Sherry O'Terry is from 95 to 2000. She had energetic performances of zany characters. A lot of highlights with her and Will Ferrell.
No,
I know.
That's true.
Tracy Morgan, he did Tracy Morgan played himself about in every sketch from 96 to 2003.
There more. Eddie Murphy did Tracy Morgan during the 50th anniversary. And then Tracy Morgan played Tracy Morgan or played somebody else.
Darius. He played a guy named Darius.
But Eddie Murphy does fun. His Tracy Morgan's pretty good.
It was.
Not as good as Jay Morris and guys that really do it, but yeah.
Yeah, Mike Myers, of course, on the list, 89 to 95, created Wayne's World. Gilda Radner is on there, one of the original cast members.
Died young.
Yeah.
Ovarian cancer, maybe 48 or even younger, maybe 42 or something, married to Gene Wilder.
42, huh? Yeah.
She died. I went on a whole deep dive because I was watching a Gene Wilder doc, which I'd seen before, but it's good. Gene Wilder was a real talent. And did a lot of stuff, Willy Wonka and Young Frankenstein and all that kind of stir crazy and all that kind of stuff. And married Gilda Radner, and then Gilda Radner died at 42 or something, 40, young 40, in her 40s, for sure. And then there was a whole but I went on a whole dive. I want to see when Marty Feldman died. Marty Feldman with the big bulging eyes. He died in 48.
Damn.
And then the guy from Monty Python who died young also died at 48. Yeah, killed at 42. Yeah, Graham Chapman died at 48. And so Marty Feldman died at 48. And then, Dawson, I'm looking at you. There was a famous Western actor, and the reason his name was Gig Johnson or something. Gig was his first name. They wanted him to play the sheriff. No, they wanted him to play Gene Wilder's part, the Waco Kid, in Blazing Saddles. Gig Young. Gig Young was a Western actor from back in the day. So I was like, what happened to Gig Young? It was did John Wayne movies and stuff. There's a famous actor. I just went to his online. Gig Young got married and killed his wife, I think on their wedding night, and then killed himself.
Damn.
And it wouldn't get that much publicity, but that was a pretty bold move for a famous guy to do back then.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a famous actor. He got an Academy Award. What? He was like well-known. I mean, he was well-known enough so that when they did Blazing Saddles in 1975, Mel Brooks is like, well, we'll get Gig Young will do it. He hired him.
Yeah.
And it turned out he was drinking a little too much and it wasn't up to the thing. But it's not like he auditioned or anything. He was a famous actor.
Yeah.
Dawson, who did he kill? Did he kill his?
He killed his 31-year-old wife when he was 64, 3 weeks into their wedding.
Oh, 3 weeks. And then killed himself.
Yes.
Did he say why? Or like,
bitch couldn't cook. It's a pretty crazy thing for a famous guy to do to his young wife.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
Not even a month into the marriage.
Takes me back to Chris Benoit from WWE. Remember that situation?
Worst. Yeah.
That was traumatizing.
Yeah, he won an Academy Award. Won an Academy Award for supporting. And They Shoot Horses, Don't They? I guess in 1969. No suicide note, no anything. It was like an impulse buy. It was like, oh, we got into an argument with my bride of 3 weeks.
You just over it.
Does it say 3 weeks on there?
Yeah, it says 3 weeks.
Bride of 3 weeks, killed her.
Jeez.
No motive.
Just killed her and then killed himself. And society moved right on.
The honeymoon is over.
There wasn't any TMZ back then. It's just like, all right.
Or Wendy Williams.
Yeah. But that's pretty hairy. Also,
the gnarliest thing I've heard today. All right.
31-year-old's like, what the? I think he was an alcoholic. I think this is an argument for not having a gun in your nightstand because I think there is no suicide note. There's no nothing. He's probably drinking and raging pretty hard. They probably got into a pretty big blowout, and he just went and fucking got the gun and shot her. And then once he shot her, he was like, no.
Now I gotta go.
Now I gotta go. Yeah.
Too easy.
It's like I'm doomed.
All right, so on that super positive note.
Nightmare.
All you Gig Young fans out there. Oh, let me see if I can cleanse everyone's palate.
All right.
Playmate of the Year. 1980, 79, 80, 81. Gig Gangle. You want to see a piece of ass? Gig Gangle. Playmate. Gig Gangle. Just to cleanse your palate in the negative gig.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very positive gig.
Yeah. It's a nice gig economy.
And who knows where she got her name? Maybe after the famous Gig Young. But her name was Gig Gangle.
Hey-oh.
Oh. Yeah, just go to the cover. But I mean, you want to... Remember I was explaining earlier sort of how you're cut?
Yeah, exactly.
She was cut very nicely.
Does she still look like that now?
I like to think... I don't know. Ask Pete Davidson. He's banging her. You guys know? If you find the cover of her Playmate of the Year... She did a spread. I think her and Burt Reynolds are on the cover. Wow. But there is a playmate named Gig Gangle who does not get her due when people talk about whatever. Oh, she is. Let's find me that cover. She is one of the hottest playmates ever. You can put it up there if you got it, or any picture of Gig Gangle. I'll accept that. Yeah, there's Burt. There's Burt Reynolds. Gig Gangle from what year is that? 78, 79?
Yeah, I don't know. But ass standards have certainly changed because she is, quite a flat one.
79, that's only from your neighborhood.
That's true.
You grew up in a black neighborhood.
That's true.
People are also just so used now to girls filling up their asses with cement.
Yeah, you're right.
What they got in Brazil.
Yeah, find another good shot of Gig Gangle. And that was her name, as far as I knew.
This is the America that I need Trump to bring back.
Yeah,
this is when culture was peak.
I totally agree. You see how happy Burt Reynolds was with Gig Gangle? All right, one more picture of Gig Gangle, then we'll go out on top. You guys can just Google image.
Yeah, let's see those gangles again.
Yeah. Let's see. All right.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, Gangle.
That's a good-looking woman
Those are
right
a couple
there.
of good ganglers right there.
Yeah.
I got to tell you. I'm all gangled out.
All right. So there's your happy gig. Xavier, let me give you a plug and tell people to check out your YouTube show, Respectfully Xavier. That's available on YouTube. Also, PragerU stuff. How can we find out about you on PragerU?
Yes, head to PragerU.com. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Please make a tax-deductible donation to keep all our videos free. And then I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, etc. All at Xavier. Twitter's at Xavier D. Can't get that username.
You can go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows coming to a town near you. And until next time, this is Adam for Xavier, Mayhem, and Gig.
Thanks for having me.
Mahala.